Hello and thank you for joining me again today. Today I am going to talk about this, the Zoom F2 little portable field recorder. I'm going to do a product review on this and just share with you some of my thoughts on this little recording device. So if that sounds good, I would love it if you could maybe hit thumbs up and maybe subscribe to this channel and hit that little bell icon as well. That would all be really useful. So as I say, I'm going to do a product review today on this, the Zoom F2 BT. This is a BT Bluetooth version, and I'm going to talk to you about my thoughts on this little recorder. But actually I'm going to make this a two-part video because this little device is what's called a 32-bit float audio recorder. And I want to talk separately about 32-bit audio and what it is and what's so special about it and why you might consider using it. So I'm going to deal with that in an entirely separate video, the part 2 of this video. Today I'm just going to focus on this particular device, what it is, how it works, and what my thoughts are on it. So the Zoom F2 is this, as I say, portable field recorder, a little tiny little thing, and it comes with a microphone. Now this microphone is the standard 3.5 locking connector on here, so it's just a general kind of Sennheiser type audio connector and will work with other microphones. So I have used this and tested it with the Sennheiser ME2 microphone and it works well. And the idea is that you can connect your microphone into the top of that, attach this to your jumper, shirt, tie, whatever you've got on, and the recorder just sits in your pocket. Now you may have seen me using this recorder on a number of my recent videos. In particular, I was wearing it when I made the Sennheiser XSWD review a few weeks ago, and I said at the time I was wearing another little lapel microphone and I was going to do a review on it. This is that review. This was the microphone that I was using on that occasion. And the big advantage of something like this over that Sennheiser system is that because the recorder is sat in your pocket, there is no radio transmission that happens. Now in that other video, I explained about the radio and the signal drop and all the potential problems that happen when you're using a radio microphone. This essentially gives you the same type of thing, a clip-on lapel mic with something that can just sit in your pocket, but it does away with the need for the radio part. And so there are a number of significant advantages to that. Theoretically, the audio quality should be improved because you're not going through a radio transmission. You also have no chance of the signal dropping out because it isn't being sent anywhere. The recording's just sat straight in your pocket, so you've got access to that wherever you are. You don't need to have a separate device to record down onto. It's just there in your pocket, ready to go. Overall, I'm very pleased with this device. It's worked really well. I've been surprisingly impressed with the audio from the microphone. It's just a Zoom microphone. There's nothing particularly special about this. I don't even know if it has its own model number, but it seemed to be okay. As I say, it was the audio that I was using in the XSWD video that I made the other week, so go and listen to that video if you want to hear what the audio sounds like. Again, it's not amazing, but it's not dreadful. It's fine, it's very usable. I did make a comparison between this microphone and the ME2 microphone and recorded on both microphones just to see if I could notice any real difference between the two. And to be quite honest, the differences were negligible. I couldn't really tell much of a difference. So the microphone itself seems to be fairly reasonable. The way the actual body pack works is it has this small removable flap here, and underneath there is a compartment for 2 AAA batteries, and it will run off 2 AAA batteries here. Once those are inserted, you've got a switch on the front which is nice and clear and obvious, which just has on, off and hold. So if you're putting it in your pocket, you can't accidentally knock any of the buttons on there, so we can turn it on and just stick it straight to hold. You then have a number of other buttons and indicators on the front here. So the record button is right in the middle around the switch section. Next to that you've got volume up and down, a stop button and a play button, as well as 2 little indicators, one for an audio input signal level just to see that there's something coming in, and the second is a battery indicator to show you whether or not the battery is still good or whether there's the batteries are running low or anything like that. On the top you have two 3.5mm jacks. One of them's an input and one of them's an output, so you can plug a pair of headphones into here and monitor your audio if that's what you wanted to do. Just check that it's sounding okay. And then you have a USB-C connector on here as well, and the primary use of this is to be able to transfer your audio files off afterwards. So once you've recorded them, you can connect this straight to your computer and pull the audio files off as well. Now it does also say that it can provide 5-volt power here, and you can power the device via this connector as well. But obviously that then means that you've got to have another battery pack in your pocket. Now that could be useful if you are doing a particularly long recording. If you wanted this to run for several hours or even a whole day and do loads of recording all in a day, then maybe you might want to consider using that to give you extra power supply during the day. But most of the time the beauty of this is just how small and compact it is and how easy it is to fit in your pocket. So I wouldn't really want to run it with an external power supply unless I absolutely had to. And then finally on the back you've got a nice chunky belt clip, so you can clip this onto a belt, and a little door underneath here where a micro SD card can fit for recording down onto. And that's it in the terms of the actual device itself. There's nothing else on here. It's very well made. It's a plastic body, but it feels fairly robust, and it's nice and smooth and small. It fits in your pocket quite nicely. It's not at all uncomfortable to have in your pocket or clipped on your belt. I really like it. I like wearing it. I like using it. It's a nice device. There are a couple of features to point out on here. First of all, the volume controls on the front here are not input volume controls, they are output volume controls. So that's for the volume going out to your headphones on here. Now it's interesting because there is no input volume control, and that's because it's a 32-bit audio recorder. Now, as I've said, I'm not going to deal too much with the 32-bit in this video. I'm going to do a whole separate video looking at 32-bit audio and what it is and what's so special about it. But just note that there is no volume input control on this. That isn't something that you can adjust at all on this device. The input volume is just whatever it is that's coming in. And there's nothing you can do to adjust that either way. Now, there is a reason behind that, and that's because it's a 32-bit audio device. So watch the second part of this video to find out what that is and why that works and why we don't need to worry about a volume control at this point. But just note, that's what it is. These on the front here are headphones output volumes, not input volumes. The second thing to note is that this is a Bluetooth connected device, and this will connect to your phone and connect to an app that runs on the Bluetooth connection on here. And the app itself is great. It's a really nice user interface. It's well laid out, it's nice and clear, it's very obvious what you need to do with it. It gives you the ability to be able to transfer files via Bluetooth from the device. You can also see your audio levels in there as well, so you can see how loud the audio signal is coming in. You have the ability to be able to remote start and stop recording, so if this is in somebody's pocket, if you were using this with a preacher or somebody who's speaking on camera and they're stood over there, you can just turn it on, connect to it via Bluetooth, and you can start and stop the recordings from behind the camera. They don't have to worry about anything over there. They just put it in their pocket and forget about it, and everything else can be controlled off the app, which is really nice. And it connects very easily too. As soon as you turn this on, it goes into Bluetooth pairing mode. And as soon as you open up the app on your phone, it will show you a list of the devices nearby that it can connect to. So it will just recognize that this is a Bluetooth device close by, connect to it in the app, and away you go. It's very simple, very straightforward, very user-friendly. Yeah, nothing really that I can say that's wrong with it. Now, so far in this review, you might think that I'm a huge fan of this product because so far all I've had to say are fairly positive things. And to an extent that's true, but I wouldn't really say that I'm a huge fan of this product. It doesn't absolutely blow my socks off. There's not really anything particularly negative that I can say about it. It's just average. It works well, it does a job, and it's fairly good at what it does. Now, it doesn't blow my mind, it's not absolutely incredible, it's certainly not the best audio recorder I've ever seen in my entire life. It's fine. It's a tool, and it works, and it does a job. And in certain instances, this would be the tool that I would choose to use for certain things, for recording a speaker. If there was somebody speaking to camera, this is a really good way to be able to do that. And I like the fact that I can control that remotely from that Bluetooth app. And I will almost certainly use this again on some of my other videos as I go through. But it's not going to be my #1 go-to recorder in every situation for everything. I think that the quality of my Tascam DR60 that I've spoken about a number of times before, that's a far higher quality recording. I love the sound of the recordings that come out of that, and that does a fantastic job. And if I can, I would probably choose to record on that a lot of the time, simply because of the sound quality that comes out of it. I don't think this thing sounds as good as that does. But this is a very different type of device. It's very discreet, it's very small, it fits in your pocket, it's mobile. That's a much bigger device and doesn't do any of those things. So there are different tools for different things. Yes, this is a good tool, and yes, it does a good job. But it isn't going to be something that's going to be absolutely life-changing for me, and it isn't going to be something that I'm going to choose to use on every single project. In many ways, in fact, it falls into a similar category to this, the XSWD that I reviewed before. It's a good product, it does what it's supposed to do, it's nice, it's simple, it's straightforward. But does it blow my mind? No, not at all. It's average, it's okay, it's fine, it does a good job. It's not bad, but it's not the best either. And I would say much the same is true of this thing. It's a useful tool, and if you've got a use for it, if it's something that you could make use of, then sure, I've got no problems in recommending it to you. It will work, it will do its job. But if you're looking for a main recorder that's going to do absolutely everything for you, well, then this isn't it. This isn't something that's just going to absolutely change the way that you make videos. Now, it's really important to note that this is part 1 of a 2-part video series, because I'm going to come back and talk about this whole 32-bit audio, because that is something that really fascinates me and I think is very interesting. And it's worth dealing with that entirely separately, because it is something that really does have an impact into audio generally, not just for this specific device, but in audio across the board. So it's worth having a look at that second video as well, just to see how that might put a different light on some of this stuff. But my overall impressions on this device are as it's good. It's fine, it works, it does a job. But it's not mind-blowing, it's just fine. So that's it, that's my thoughts on the Zoom F2 BT field recording device. It's a handy little thing to have around. I'm certainly not going to be getting rid of it, I'm definitely going to make use of this. It's something that's going to be part of my video kit, and I will use it when it's appropriate to use it. But it isn't going to be something that's out every time. It's not going to be often in my bag in 2022. I'm not quite sure what else I can say about it really. Hopefully that's been something that's been helpful for you. I really want to encourage you to stay tuned for the part 2, because I think there's going to be a lot more fascinating information in the second part of this series. 32-bit audio is a really interesting concept, and I can't state highly enough how excited I am for that second part of this video. I think it's probably a lot more interesting than this first part has been, so please do come back and join me for that second part. That's it for now. I will see you in the next video. Take care, see you soon. Audio recording test. This is the F2 recorder with the Zoom microphone that came with the F2 recorder. I'm talking into this microphone so I can test the audio quality. Let's see how it sounds. Audio test. This is the Sennheiser ME2 mic capsule into the Zoom F2 recorder. I'm recording this to see how it sounds in comparison to the Zoom microphone capsule. Don't know what it's called. Let's see how this sounds. Hello and thank you for joining me again today. Today I am going to talk about this, the Zoom F2 little portable field recorder. I'm going to do a product review on this and just share with you some of my thoughts on this little recording device. So if that sounds good, I would love it if you could hit the thumbs up and maybe considering And the app itself is great. It's a really nice user interface. It's nice and simple. It's very well laid out. So I have used this with the Sennheiser ME2 as well. So I have used this and tested this with the It gives you the ability to be able to transfer the audio files via Bluetooth from the Hello and welcome to another video. Thank you so much for joining me again today. So today I am going to talk to you about this. This is the Zoom F2 little